In the heart of Nebraska state governance, where public trust should reign supreme, Secretary of State Robert B. Evnen stands accused of orchestrating a litany of transgressions that threaten the state's sovereignty and economic integrity. Elected in 2018 and reaffirmed in 2022, Evnen's tenure as Nebraska's chief protocol officer has devolved from stewardship into a cesspool of malfeasance, marked by fiscal irresponsibility, ethical breaches, and a reckless disregard for the welfare of Nebraskans. At the forefront of his offenses is the non-binding Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, signed on September 2, 2025, with Kenya's Principal Secretary for Diaspora Affairs, a deal that not only misallocates public funds but also invites cultural and economic disruption. Compounding this betrayal is Evnen's complicity in the state's discredited COVID-19 policies, which have been exposed as ineffective and, in some instances, harmful. This article dissects the absolute and prospective crimes tied to Evnen's actions, with a particular focus on the Nebraska-Kenya MOU, and outlines the legal mechanisms and citizen-driven remedies to remove him from office and hold him accountable. The Nebraska-Kenya MOU, a felicitous facade for fiscal felony. The cornerstone of Evnen's malfeasance is the MOU, signed without gubernatorial approval or interagency oversight during a taxpayer-funded trade mission to Kenya. This agreement, cloaked in the rhetoric of labor mobility, student exchanges, and apprenticeships, explicitly aims to import Kenyan truck drivers to fill roles that Nebraska's own workforce, over 1,000 qualified haulers sidelined by regulatory constraints, could readily occupy. Governor Jim Pillen has publicly disavowed the initiative, highlighting its irrelevance to state priorities, yet Evnen's office persists, claiming the pact aligns with federal guidelines, while Kenyan officials tout it as a pathway for critical sector placements, including commercial driver's licenses. This disconnect reveals a deeper agenda, one that prioritizes foreign labor over local livelihoods and threatens to suppress wages by 30 to 50%, as seen in similar labor importation schemes. The MOU constitutes a cascade of criminal and ethical violations. First, it represents a clear misallocation of public funds, a felony under Nebraska Revised Statute Section 84-306, which prohibits unauthorized disbursements. The costs of Evnen's Kenyan venture, travel, negotiations, and related expenditures divert resources from pressing domestic needs like education and infrastructure, potentially exposing him to charges of theft by deception, punishable by up to 20 years in prison. Second, Evnen's past as a labor attorney at Woods and Aitken LLP, where he advised corporations on workforce optimization, raises suspicions of conflicts of interest, violating Nebraska's Code of Ethics, Nebraska Reverend Stat Section 49 to 1493. This could escalate to bribery under 18 U.S.C. Section 666 if evidence links the MOU to corporate donors eyeing Kenyan markets, carrying penalties of 10 years and fines triple the gratuity's value. Third, while hyperbolic, the MOU's facilitation of unvetted migration from a region with documented anti-Western sentiments flirts with sedition under Nebraska Constitution Article 1, Section 14, by undermining state sovereignty. If ties to corporate entities like Werner Enterprises are substantiated, this could trigger RICO violations, 18 U.S.C. Section 1962, amplifying the legal peril. These offenses, coupled with unconfirmed rumors of Evnen's involvement in broader financial frauds, paint a portrait of a bureaucrat leveraging state power for personal or corporate gain. Culpability in the COVID cataclysm, incompetence as complicity. Evnen's record during the 2020 to 2022 COVID-19 crisis further indicts his competence and integrity. As Secretary of State, he facilitated safe polling operations amid statewide lockdowns, recruiting younger poll workers to replace older ones fearful of the virus, a move that masked his deeper complicity in enforcing Nebraska's now discredited pandemic protocols. The mask mandates and vaccination campaigns, which Evnen's office supported through federal grant administration and public communications, have been debunked by studies like those from the Cochrane collaboration, which found negligible impact on transmission and documented severe adverse events, including fatal myocarditis in young adults. These policies, enforced under then-Governor Pete Ricketts, contributed to excess mortality in Nebraska, with thousands of lives disrupted or lost. Evnen's actions during this period constitute criminal negligence under Nebraska Revised Statute Section 28-904, a misdemeanor carrying up to 1 year in prison for each documented harm, as his propagation of harmful protocols endangered public health. Additionally, by endorsing initiatives built on exaggerated efficacy claims, Evnen may be liable for fraudulent misrepresentation under 18 U.S.C. Section 1343, as federal funds funneled through his office subsidized misleading public health campaigns. This aligns with emerging lawsuits against officials for deadly overreach, exposing Evnen to both civil penalties and potential criminal indictments. His failure to retract or apologize for these policies, unlike proactive states like Florida, underscores a calcified incompetence that compounds his Kenyan misadventure. Mechanisms of removal, charting the path to accountability. To purge Evnen from office, Nebraska's constitutional framework provides a clear, albeit deliberate, path through impeachment, as outlined in Article 4, Section 5 of the Nebraska Constitution. As an elected constitutional officer, Evnen cannot be removed by gubernatorial fiat or voter recall, making impeachment the sole mechanism for his ouster. The process begins with the Nebraska legislature, a unicameral body, drafting articles of impeachment based on grounds such as treason, bribery, or high crimes and misdemeanors, including any misdemeanor committed in pursuit of office. A simple majority vote in the legislature is required to impeach, after which the Nebraska Supreme Court conducts a trial, convicting only upon clear and convincing evidence. A conviction results in Evnen's immediate removal and disqualification from future state office, with the governor appointing a replacement until the next election. The MOU's misallocation of funds, potential bribery, and COVID-related negligence provide ample grounds for such proceedings, though the process may span weeks to months, as seen in the 1871 impeachment of Governor David Butler. Alternatively, criminal indictment offers a parallel avenue. The Nebraska Attorney General, Mike Hilgers, can investigate the MOU for illegality, as he has previously challenged Evnen's electoral policies, and convene a grand jury to pursue charges like felony theft or bribery. Federal authorities, such as the U.S. Attorney, could also probe for violations like wire fraud or RICO, particularly if corporate collusion is uncovered. While an indictment does not automatically suspend Evnen's office, it can catalyze legislative impeachment efforts. Notably, elected officials lack immunity from arrest for felonies or treason, as per the U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 6, ensuring Evnen's vulnerability to immediate legal consequences if evidence substantiates these crimes. Citizens, though barred from direct recall, wield significant influence. They can petition legislators through district offices to initiate impeachment, file ethics complaints with the Nebraska Accountability and Disclosure Commission under Nebraska Reverend Stat Section 49 to 14,105, and fund watchdog litigation through groups like Real Free News Nebraska. Mass rallies, as seen during 2020 election disputes, can amplify public pressure, while civil lawsuits for damages under state tort claims can hold Evnen personally accountable. Governor Pillen's public disavowal of the MOU provides a fulcrum. Citizens can urge him to withhold budgets and refer the matter to the Attorney General for investigation. Conclusion: a call to reclaim Nebraska. Evnen's tenure is a cautionary tale of unchecked power in a republic lulled by complacency. The Nebraska-Kenya MOU is not a mere misstep, but a calculated betrayal, squandering public funds and sovereignty for dubious gains. His complicity in harmful COVID policies further cements his legacy as a figurehead of incompetence and potential criminality. Nebraskans must act decisively through legislative impeachment, criminal probes, and citizen activism to expel this traitor from office and restore integrity to the state. The Attorney General, legislature, and governor must heed the public's call, while citizens themselves must rally, petition, and litigate to ensure Evnen faces not just removal but retribution. In this crucible of betrayal, only resolute action will forge a Nebraska free from the taint of such perfidy.